All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of our webinar series. There's an AI agent for that. We'll be focusing today on the power of unified data and context and how together it helps AI deliver. The first part of this series was titled Resolutions at Scale, and it received tremendous response from our audience. And I hope that you'll find this one equally valuable. So let's begin with a question. What metrics do you think will immediately improve with unified data? You can give it a thought and let us know in the poll. I'll wait for a couple of seconds for you to put in your responses. Great. So let's dive a little bit deeper into these conversations and these topics as we go through the webinar. I'd love to introduce your host and speaker for today. I'm Naomi, and I'm part of DevRev, and it gives me immense pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Courtney Baldwin from Fame.
Hi,
Fame
everyone.
is, hello, and thank you so much for joining us. Fame is a premier school management specialist, and Courtney has been championing their efforts to transform scattered data into a knowledge ecosystem. Thank you so much, Courtney, for taking the time out. It is amazing to have you here.
No problem, my pleasure. I really enjoy what's happening here, so I'm all aboard.
Awesome. So let's dive a little bit deeper into the way that organizations work, and that's already undergone some innovative transformations. What's becoming increasingly visible, though, are the pressures on a modern organization. They have to move fast while staying compliant and delivering seamless experiences both internally and externally. And what we've observed is that the bottleneck usually isn't with the people or tools, but really with disconnected data. What are your thoughts on this, Courtney?
Hmm. I have lived this reality. When information is scattered everywhere, it's over different platforms. You have your team spending hours hunting down data, trying to solve problems. It can slow down the process of productivity as well as the ability to assist your clients. But if you're searching for information, you'd be lucky if it's the information that you need precisely or if it's even up to date. So the primary role of support is to be there for its clients, to offer expertise and efficiency. So the bottom line is that nothing is resolved quickly if the data is not where it should be. That goes to operating, and then it can be frustrating once it becomes the norm, and that's what we're trying to prevent. And the lack of skills and lack of visibility of the data is where the problem came in. So it can delay answering calls, cases sitting for longer, but the client is still waiting for a resolution. Managing information isn't just helpful, it's essential for scaling and supporting with excellence.
So tell us a little bit more about what you should focus on.
Most organizations don't realize that the quick fixes really don't solve the issue, the underlying problem. But with AI, you're operating with speed. However, it still needs proper context. It still can give half answers, make things up, or require a team to double check everything that is being asked. But in unifying the data, it makes the process easier. AI performs at its best when it's fully connected, supported by cohesive ecosystems. And this is where my experience with computer was most helpful, especially with searching across multiple platforms and getting the correct answer the first time.
That's very interesting, Courtney, and thank you for sharing, especially on the need for context. You've seen the difference firsthand at Fame, the
Mhm.
challenges before unifying data and how computers helped. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
So you do have like so with Fame here, we are a financial aid software based company. So you have different things spread across tickets, excuse me, tickets, issues, documents. We needed a place to pull in all of that information. So versus having knowledge that isn't shared, now everything is in one central location. We have our handbooks in one central location, articles, SOPs, and we can go through them when need be. And everything can be searched at once versus me having several tabs open and just trying to find that answer and see what it's going to help me do if it's going to lead me in the right place altogether.
So thank you
So,
for those input.
oh no, go right ahead.
And before we start talking about the importance of a knowledge system, I'd like to throw in another question to our audience. What do you think slows down your teams most today? There should be a poll, and we'll give you a couple of seconds to add in your answers. Awesome. I look at the answers and the responses here. You know, what slows down our teams today is waiting for context, which is such a pain because we're constantly switching between tools and switching between context. And there's often conflicting data between systems as well, because, you could look at Slack, which has these conversations, but then you also look at, email that could have more information. And then that's just constant confusion. And so you're constantly switching between tools, and it just really slows you down. So maybe, Courtney, before we dive into some of the other interesting topics we have, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience before computer and after computer?
Oh, the fun. So before computer, as I stated, it was a lot of manual work. So a lot of time-consuming details and trying to figure out where the information is housed, how we can get it in the same place, one central location for everyone. And it slowed down our ability to properly assist our clients. So when you're thinking about before computer, it's more of uncertainty and compliance, whether or not those SOPs are correct or they're updated, if everything that we need is within them. Again, slowing down response times. If you are training a new hire and some information may be missing or the trainer may not be available, you have onboarding and knowledge hurdles that you are attempting to overcome just to get your new hire ready to be as productive as they can within the company. Now, fast forward to where we were introduced to computer answers increased rapidly. Targeting answers actually increases specifically because now you can find that information and you can search across multiple handbooks. You can search across different websites that we use every day and may not necessarily need to research individually. Clarity on SOPs and running reports. Specifically, we right now we're in the time of gainful employment and iPads and all of those stipulations and regulations we have to research almost daily to answer and assist clients. Computer put everything right in the forefront. So we can search, we can look for compliance, we can look for the accurate information that we need at the time that we need it. It also allowed us to, again, cohesively search. So, for instance, our FSA handbooks that we use for financial aid, they date back to 1999, all the way to where we are currently, which is 26, 27. We can search every handbook and pull out all that information that we may need, be it present or past. And it also makes it easier for us to onboard new clients. I'm sorry, excuse me, onboard new teammates because they can now search information on their own. So even if someone isn't available, you have a AI counterpart next to you giving you the answers that you need. So it creates even though you're working remote, it creates a coworker for you. So now you can go and get all of those answers and still operate as efficiently as you like.
That's very interesting. So maybe like tell me a little bit more about what were the steps that you took in creating this knowledge ecosystem and what
Oh,
sort of integrations play a role.
so integrations first. Right now, we are using Jira and Zendesk mainly, so all of that information populates over. So let's say I'm looking for a particular case or a particular um, client. I can search keywords or search the scenario that I'm looking for, and it will populate that ticket for me. It will populate additional articles for me that I may not knew existed, but I find them, and also give me next steps of what to do. I'm especially helpful with Zendesk integration because I can work out of DevRev solely, operate, close out things that need to close out, and make sure that not only am I responding, but I'm getting the most efficient answer to my clients. So there's Zendesk, Jira when we use it, that you can search through also. So if you're looking for an escalation or if you're looking for what has been resolved, you're able to circulate and research all this information in what I call the little computer soup. Everything's in there. So you're just looking around trying to figure out, okay, I know I need this. So you can go in, give DevRev the specifics. It may not be the article, but you have the keywords, if you have the date, if you have the client's name that you're looking for, all of that information can go in and it will search across all the database and look for whatever it is that we're asking.
So tell me a little bit about what does your role using computer look like?
So when I use computer, it's more for making sure my clients get the most efficient answer. So of course, I've been doing financial aid for quite a while, but there are different scenarios that come about. There are different ways that I can help my clients the way that I like to, which is thoroughly. I want to make sure that I give you enough information to where you can feed yourself. So I'll go in and use DevRev to find articles, links, the first thing I come in, I open Deborah because I don't know when I'm going to need it, but I want to make sure it's there when I open it. So it's more so about predicting what that client is going to need in the future. So I want to answer your question, but I also want to give you links. I also want to give you handouts, any updates that you could find. And computer fishes all of that for me and puts it together in bullet points. If I need for a email to be populated, I use it for that also. So it will generate an email right back to that client for me. So instead of me toggling between several different screens, I'm now using DevRev to respond to the client to make sure that I've touched base with whatever different situations I need to. And it gives me little bullet points as well. Did you check for this? Um, did you look at this particular article? So it gives you different starting points. So then you can make sure that, okay, I know I answered this. I know I gave this person everything that they needed before I closed that ticket.
I love that because that is exactly what we envisioned while building computer. We really asked ourselves, what if AI could work alongside your teams? It could handle tedious, repetitive work. It could unify all of your data and context, and it could understand, answer, and take action, which is exactly what I heard you say as well.
It definitely
Awesome.
makes a
So
difference. It's like my little counterpart.
I love that. So tell me, what does a typical day look like for you using computer? And could you also share a little bit of light on what are some important workflows or prompts that you've been able to set up within Fame?
Ooh, so a typical day looks like me coming in. Like I said, I'll open the software, I'll look and see what tickets I have that might need a bit more research or might need additional attention. And I'll pull those, maybe put them to the side while I'm going and searching through computer to see what it gives me if I need to research that particular information. But then also, um, the workflows for currently what we have, we're working on is the rejects. So we have funds that will come in, there may be issues with them, and we have to research them. Initially, we want to let the clients know that our first response is letting them know, hey, we're working on it. We are aware of this. We want to make sure that you know we put you first. And so having something to respond back to them almost immediately, or at least within the first 24 hours, is the goal to make sure that they know that they've been heard. So automating that particular part of the process, attempting to automate chat so then your clients aren't sitting for hours, but they know, hey, someone is going to get back to me as soon as possible, or someone's going to research this particular information. So it's more about making sure clients feel heard and then providing that thorough assistance once that feedback is available after we've gone into computer and done our research and pulled everything together. My day-to-day looks like using DevRev to piece together the issues that my clients are experiencing. So I know I'm the beginning piece, I can do the research, I am the human part of using AI. And then I partner with AI to then help my clients. So it's a team effort in going in and making sure clients have what they need and when they need it also, but making sure it's accurate.
I love that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I think this slide
No
has
problem.
so much goodness, and I'm very excited to talk through it with you. And so, while we've discussed why scattered data is a challenge and how AI thrives on context, and how you've really been able to create this connected knowledge ecosystem, the final step in this puzzle is really to be able to measure real impact. Could you tell us a little bit about how you go about it?
Oh, goodness. So I am a person who I like to see my numbers. I like to know what I'm doing. I compete against myself. So I want to know based on the last review or based on the amount of tickets that I worked through, what have I really done with my day? And so DevRev makes it easier to go in and look and see, okay, how often have I used computer? Um, how efficient have my answers been? How quickly can I respond to a client? And from not using DevRev in 2024 to using DevRev now, I can definitely see the drastic difference in my numbers. I can see the changes in what transpired from when I started until now. So it's more along the lines of excitement to see how quickly I can move through and close out things. And like, okay, what else do you have? Me and computer, we have it. I have my coworker here. What else do you need? But it makes a difference when you can close a case and know that you've done everything you could do, know that it's right and that it won't be reopened. And that's my challenge for myself is thoroughly answering the question or the inquiry. So then that way the client is not responding back and saying, hey, you missed this, or hey, I didn't get an answer for this. I want to give you everything in one clean sweep. So in terms of numbers, I did some measurements just to see what my metrics look like. Which definitely surprised me. But I increased my productivity quite a bit, roughly around about 500 or so cases. I was able to see the difference in how quickly I could from open to close. Even with those that were reopened, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it went from 25% being reopened to about 8. So it made a difference. You can see the difference in how well you work, how knowledgeable you are, because now it's not just DevRev giving you the information, it's also teaching you one, where to find it, and two, now that you know how to find it, you'll remember it. So it's just allowing me to grow my knowledge base a lot faster as well. And I definitely enjoy that part of it because I'm a learner.
I love that. These are incredible numbers, and I love that you said me and computer because it almost does feel like a buddy.
Hmm. It does. When you go in and you're looking for answers and it responds and it's giving you different links, or it'll tell you, I mean, I like to make sure that I express to it no hallucinations. I need cited information. Or if I'm on the phone, hey, I'm on the phone, I need to answer quickly. But if I have time, no, take your time, think about it. So definitely I talk to it as if it's a coworker because you're giving me pertinent information that I need and I want to make sure that it's accurate when I pass it on to the client.
Amazing. Well, again, thank you for those outstanding numbers
Mhm.
and for loving computer the way that you do. I trust everyone here will walk away from this session with a renewed sense of understanding on how to make AI work for them. But before we wrap up, let's take a look at some questions. If anybody has any, I'm looking in the chat as well. But yeah, we do a quick Q&A. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, or if you are able to come off mute, I think that would be awesome. All right. Any closing thoughts, Courtney, before we wrap up?
Um, just that. using it can help you source more information and improve productivity. Kind of get your support off of the hamster wheel of constantly searching for information and putting it in one place. So if you are focused on your support and you're focused on making sure that what you provide to your clients is efficient and accurate, I'd say give it a try. Give it a
Awesome.
shot. It's worth it.
Well, well, that brings us to the close of our second episode in There's an AI Agent for That series. Thank you, Courtney, again for taking the time out and sharing your really expert insights. We appreciate it so much.
My
And thank
pleasure.
you to our audience for attending, and we will see you soon in another webinar. Thanks, everybody. Bye.